Arsenal managed to scrape just 12 points from their first few games this season, exactly the same as Erik ten Hag's Manchester United. But then, something changed. One player returned to the lineup, and suddenly Arsenal weren't just better, they were more attacking, more dynamic, and looking like title challengers. So how did this one player transform the team? This is why Odegaard is the reason for Arsenal's rise. Over the past 2 seasons, Arsenal have gone toe-to-toe with Manchester City, the undisputed kings of the Premier League, in one of the most thrilling title races in recent memory. And at the heart of this resurgence, Ødegaard. He's not just a captain, he's the driving force behind Arsenal's rise, and here's why. As Arsenal's captain, he's been nothing short of phenomenal. Over these 2 seasons, Ødegaard has emerged as a creative force that drives the team forward. Whether it's threading impossible passes, orchestrating the midfield, or popping up with crucial goals, he's consistently been one of Arsenal's standout performers. Last season, his 8 league goals and 10 assists weren't just numbers, they were statements. Statements that Arsenal were done playing second fiddle. And while they narrowly missed out on dethroning Manchester City, Ødegaard's influence was undeniable, inspiring the team to their best points tally in nearly 2 decades. Simply put, without Ødegaard, Arsenal's rise from challengers to contenders wouldn't be incomplete, it wouldn't even be possible. Martin Ødegaard is a player who makes football look like art. The way he moves, the way he sees the game, the way he executes, it's all a perfect blend of creativity and precision. When you watch him, it's almost as if the ball is magnetically drawn to his feet. His vision is unmatched. He sees passes others can't even dream of. Whether threading a ball through the tiniest gap in the defense or finding a teammate with an inch-perfect crossfield pass, Ødegaard is the kind of player who makes you wonder, how did he see that? But Ødegaard isn't just about flair and fancy passes. He's got the grit and work rate that every manager dreams of. In Mikel Arteta's system, where pressing and intensity are non-negotiable, Ødegaard thrives. He's the first to close down defenders, cutting off passing lanes, and winning the ball high up the pitch. It's this blend of artistry and hard work that makes him the perfect fit for Arsenal. On the ball, he's pure class. His close control under pressure is unreal. Put 2 or 3 defenders around him and he'll still find a way to wriggle out and make something happen. And let's talk about his finishing. 15 league goals last season, and they weren't just any goals. Screaming strikes from outside the box, delicately placed finishes, and even a few that had goalkeepers just standing there, watching the ball hit the net. Ødegaard is the ultimate modern midfielder. He's not just creating chances for others, he's stepping up and taking responsibility for himself. That's what makes him so special. He's the link between Arsenal's midfield and their electric front 3, the player who makes everything tick. When you see Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli tearing down the wings, chances are Ødegaard started the move. And let's not forget his leadership. As Arsenal's captain, he's been more than just a player. He's a driving force, leading by example and setting the tone for the entire team. He's the guy who keeps the team grounded, even when they're flying high. It's no wonder Arteta trusts him to be the brains and the beating heart of this Arsenal side. Martin Ødegaard isn't just good, he's exceptional. He's the kind of player who can transform a team, and Arsenal are reaping the rewards. At just 25, he's already one of the best in the league, and the scary thing is he's only getting started. But what happens to Arsenal when this beast is out injured? Well, it is not pretty.
Looking for the flick on, it's an equaliser. And Van Dijk turns away and Liverpool are level. Has got around the back, he pulls it across, great chance, they've equalised, and it's Salah.
In the 8 games without him this season, Arsenal picked up just 12 points in the Premier League. So what's the deal? Why does Arsenal struggle so much without their captain? Well, it's simple. Ødegaard isn't just a playmaker, he's the engine that drives this team. Without him, Arsenal loses its rhythm, creativity, and most importantly, cutting edge in attack. Think about it. Ødegaard's ability to link the midfield with the attack is unmatched in the squad. He's the guy who connects all the dots, whether it's playing those clever passes in tight spaces or making the runs to create overloads. Without him, Arsenal's build-up play looks, well, clunky. The transitions are slower, and the team struggles to break down well-organised defences. Take a look at the numbers. In those 8 games without Ødegaard, Arsenal scored fewer goals, created fewer chances, and conceded more. They don't have another player who can replicate what he brings. Sure, players like Declan Rice or Kai Havertz can step up in their roles, but they're not Ødegaard. His vision, his composure under pressure, and his knack for finding space are one of a kind. And it's not just about the stats, it's the confidence he gives the team. When Ødegaard is on the pitch, you can see the difference in how Arsenal play. They're more fluid and more dynamic, and they control games better. Without him, it's like the team is missing its conductor, the one who sets the tempo and keeps everyone in sync. The biggest issue? Arsenal doesn't have a natural replacement for him. Sure, you could try slotting in a younger player or reshuffling the midfield, but let's be real, it's not the same. Ødegaard's absence forces Arsenal to rely more on their wingers and individual moments of brilliance, which isn't sustainable if you're chasing a title. So yeah, those 12 points from 8 games, that's the Ødegaard-shaped hole in Arsenal's lineup. When he's not there, it's not just about missing a player, it's about losing the heartbeat of the team. And that's why, when he's fit and firing, Arsenal look like a genuine contender. Without him, well, it's a completely different story. I mean, when Ødegaard was sidelined earlier this season, Arsenal turned to Leandro Trossard, sometimes to fill the gap either as a second striker or attacking midfielder. Now, don't get me wrong, Trossard is a fantastic player. He's very creative, versatile, and capable of producing magical moments. But when it comes to playing Ødegaard's role, he's like a square peg in a round hole. Trossard thrives in more advanced, free-roaming positions, where he can take players on and create chances in the final third. But Ødegaard's role isn't just about flair, it's about control, vision, and being the metronome for the team. When Trossard stepped into that midfield role, Arsenal lost a lot of their fluidity. The transitions weren't as smooth, the pressing wasn't as cohesive, and the build-up lacked that Ødegaard touch of class. Against teams that sit deep, Trossard struggled to find the same pockets of space that Ødegaard seems to locate effortlessly. He also doesn't have the same knack for dropping deep to help progress the ball or dictating the tempo of the game. It's not that Trossard is a bad player, he's just not Ødegaard. So it makes you think, is Ødegaard really irreplaceable? Well, yes. But before we discuss why, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. We want to hit 20k before the end of the year, and you can help us achieve that goal. Thank you, and now back to the video. First of all, Ødegaard isn't just any player, he's the glue that holds Arsenal together. Everything good that happens on the pitch seems to run through him. When you think about Arsenal's style, fluid, possession-based attacking football, it's built around Ødegaard's ability to dictate the game. He's not just a cog in the machine, he's the engine driving the whole thing. Let's start with the basics, his vision and creativity. There's no one else in this squad who can see the game like he does. He's the guy who's 2 steps ahead of everyone else, spotting passes that most players wouldn't even think of. You know those moments when you're watching a game and you're yelling at the screen because no one's making the obvious pass? Ødegaard always makes that pass and he makes it look easy. Take his link-up play with Bukayo Saka for example. These two are like peanut butter and jelly, they just click. Since last season, Ødegaard and Saka have combined for the most shots created between 2 players in the Premier League. Think about how insane that is. He knows exactly where Saka is going to be before Saka even gets there. Without Ødegaard, that partnership falls apart, and Arsenal's right side, their strongest side, loses its spark. Now let's talk about Ødegaard's role in the build-up. He's not just creating chances in the final third, he's involved in everything. From deep in Arsenal's half to the edge of the opponent's box, he's constantly moving, constantly offering himself as an option. When he drops deep, he pulls defenders out of position, creating space for others to exploit. He's like a chess player, always thinking several moves ahead. And when Arsenal needs to break down a stubborn defense, he's the guy who finds the gaps no one else can see. Arsenal doesn't have anyone else who can do what Ødegaard does. Sure, Declan Rice is brilliant, but his role is different. He's there to win the ball, protect the backline, and occasionally drive forward. Kai Havertz? He's more of a hybrid forward than a playmaker really. This lack of a backup is what makes Ødegaard's importance even more glaring. When he's not on the pitch, Arsenal's creativity takes a massive hit. The team becomes overly reliant on their wingers and the midfield struggles to link up with the attack. It's like trying to bake a cake without flour. You can have all the other ingredients, but it's just not going to work. His ability to link the midfield with the attack is unmatched in the squad. He's the guy who connects all the dots, whether it's playing those clever passes in tight spaces or making the runs to create overloads. Without him, Arsenal's build-up play looks, well, clunky, I guess. The transitions are slower, and the team struggles to break down well-organised defences. Take a look at the numbers. In those 8 games without Ødegaard, Arsenal scored fewer goals, created fewer chances, and conceded more. They don't have another player who can replicate what he brings, and it's not just his creativity that makes him irreplaceable, it's his leadership. Ødegaard isn't the kind of captain who shouts and screams. He leads by example. You can see it in the way he carries himself on the pitch, always calm, always composed, always in control. He's constantly talking to his teammates, pointing out where they should be and organising the press. That leadership is invaluable, especially for a young team like Arsenal. Speaking of the press, Ødegaard is crucial to Arsenal's defensive setup. When the team press is high, he's often leading the charge, closing down passing lanes and forcing the opposition into mistakes. His work rate is incredible. He's not just there to create magic with the ball, he's also putting in the hard yards off it. Since the start of last season, he's won the ball back more times in the attacking third than any other player in the league. That's the kind of effort that inspires the rest of the team. And let's not forget his fitness. Ødegaard's injury record is almost unreal. Before this season, he'd only missed 3 games in 3 seasons. Think about that consistency. When building a title-challenging team, you need players you can rely on week in and week out, and Ødegaard is exactly that. But when he's out, Arsenal look like a shadow of themselves. Trying to replace him is impossible. You could try to bring in another top-tier playmaker, but think about it. Which elite player is going to come to Arsenal knowing they'll be sitting on the bench behind Ødegaard? Players like him are rare, and finding someone who can step in seamlessly without disrupting the team's chemistry is a massive challenge. It's like Liverpool trying to find backup for Mohamed Salah, or Manchester City looking for someone to fill Rodri's shoes. It's just not happening. By the way, you can watch a video on who I think can replace Rodri at Manchester City. So yeah, Martin Ødegaard isn't just a piece of the puzzle, he's the entire framework. Without him, Arsenal lose their identity. He's the player who makes everything click, the player who keeps everyone focused, and the magician who creates something out of nothing. But what does Arsenal do if Ødegaard ever gets injured? Well, before that happens, I think they should seriously start developing Ethan Nwaneri into that role. I know he's young, but trust me, the kid has all the potential to step into Ødegaard's shoes one day. I mean, when you watch him play, you can already see the attributes that could make him the perfect successor. First of all, Nwaneri's technical ability is something special. He's got that silky touch that Ødegaard is known for, and honestly, that's half the battle when it comes to playing in the middle of the park. Ødegaard is so good in tight spaces, constantly shifting away from pressure and keeping the ball moving. Nwaneri has shown he can do the same. His ability to glide past defenders with ease, keeping the ball under control in tight spots, is something that Ødegaard himself has mastered. With more experience and coaching, Nwaneri could thrive in that role. And let's talk about vision. Ødegaard's ability to pick out a pass that no one else sees? Oh, it's insane. Nwaneri doesn't have Ødegaard's experience yet, but he's already got the potential to develop that same level of creativity. When he plays, you can see the little moments where he looks up, takes in his options, and makes a clever pass, sometimes with that same composure Ødegaard shows. He's got the right mindset and tools, it's just a matter of sharpening those instincts over time. Look, I'm not saying Nwaneri is ready to replace Ødegaard tomorrow, but I genuinely believe he has what it takes to develop into that player. With the right mentorship from Ødegaard himself and more opportunities in the first team, Nwaneri could one day be the man pulling the strings in midfield, just like Ødegaard does now. But what do you think? Can he play as well as Ødegaard? Well, let me know in the comments. And while you do that, don't forget to watch our last video on who can replace Rodri at Manchester City.